I'm continuing my video series Getting Closer to Canada. Honestly, when I was heading to Montreal, I didn't think this city could still surprise me. I already been here twice, but wow, I was wrong. This time I realized just how uniquely Montreal blends North American life with the European vibe. The streets, the architecture, the atmosphere, it's nothing like what you'd expect from Canada or the US. Montreal amazes you with its architecture. It feels like a piece of Europe was dropped right here. And the food? Unbelievable. There are endless restaurants and foodie spots to explore. Plus the local market. That's where you really feel the heartbeat of the city. In just one weekend, we managed to hit all the main tourist spots, try some incredible food and really feel the rhythm of the city. We arrived Saturday morning and headed back Monday evening, but it was enough to understand one thing. Montreal can surprise you, even if you've been here before. Our road started right in the heart of Montreal, the Old Town, a place of cobblestone streets and historic facades, nothing like your typical North American metropolis. And right here stands the city's main architectural gem, the Notre-Dame Basilica. It welcomes millions of visitors every year, but even if you've seen hundreds of cathedrals across Europe, this one will still leave you speechless. It's considered one of the most beautiful churches on the continent. Notre-Dame in Montreal is one of the most iconic cultural and historical landmarks in the city and in all Canada. Even though it shares a name, it has nothing to do with the Notre-Dame in Paris. However, it is not free. Admission ticket is $16 per person, and also you can attend a light show called Oratory if you are up to it for additional price. And also interesting fact that Celine Dion had wedding in this basilica, and it has one of the biggest organ in the world. Here you feel like you're somewhere in Europe, but just a few steps away a completely different Montreal is waiting, loud, modern and full of energy. But for now, let's take a closer look at this stunning basilica. Montreal was founded in 1649 by French settlers, and right now it is the second biggest city in Canada. If we are comparing it to Toronto, it has more chill vibe and it has cafe culture and also walkable streets. And also it is the second in the world French-speaking place after Paris. And even in movies, Montreal is used as fake Paris. Montreal feels like Europe in Canada and even in North America, so if you have never been to Europe, this is the must-visit place. And everybody on TikTok recommended to go to Schwartz Deli, so we decided to go there too. But I would say that parking here is extremely hard to find. I don't know if it is like everyday thing or only today, but we had to park 1.5 kilometers from the place. And right now we are walking through the beautiful neighborhood. So if you're in the area, maybe even it's a good thing that we had time to walk around here. They say if you haven't been to Schwartz Deli, you haven't really been to Montreal. It's a true city legend, open since 1928. There is always a line outside, but we got lucky, grabbed seats at the bar and didn't have to wait long. I ordered the classic smoked meat sandwich with sauerkraut and the pickle. It's about $25, but the portion is generous. The atmosphere here is special, a tiny space, crowded tables, and smell of smoke and spices in the air. It feels like an old diner that hasn't changed in decades. You can literally feel the history in the walls. Honestly, I've had better sandwiches in New York, but in Montreal, Schwartz is a must visit. It's not just a restaurant, it's a piece of the city's culture. Our second day in Montreal started early. We left the hotel and headed straight for bagels, one of the city's most famous food stops. The place is so popular, there is always a line, but trust me, it's totally worth it. The bakery is located in Montreal's Jewish quarter, and that's exactly where you feel the city's true local spirit. We grabbed a few bagels to go and had a small breakfast in the park, and here is the interesting part. As I already told you, Montreal is a food capital of Canada. Personally, I think it's really true. There are so many nice restaurants and cafes, and comparing to Toronto, honestly, you cannot even compare. So we have decided to try one of the most popular bagels. There are two of them actually. One is Fairmont, another one Saint Viateur, if I pronounce it correctly, and we decided to go with the second one. So interesting thing that they work from 6 a.m. till midnight, so you can buy bagels almost any time. But the sad thing is, we thought that you could get a bagel with salmon or with meat or with jam or anything, but you have to buy just plain bagel, and then you can buy additionally whatever you want. They have a little fridge there. But the price for one bagel is just insane, $1.50. I think this is the cheapest thing that I've ever tried in Canada. And a lot of people are comparing bagels from New York and Montreal, and I think that in Montreal they are sweeter, they're a little bit denser, but they are smaller as well. And personally, I like Montreal's bagels more. Maybe this is my just Canadian connection calling. So we have already tried the salt ones because we were very hungry, and right now I'm just gonna try one we bought with blueberries, so let's see how it tastes. I've never tried sweet bagels before. Yeah, it's very dense. It's even hard to chew. I think the best thing to try it with jam or maybe with cheese or something like that, but just the plain bagel, it's too dry. You gotta get like jam or something and coffee with tea, that's for sure. Overall, I like it, and I think that if I were living in Montreal, I would buy it on regular basis, but in Toronto, I don't think I'm gonna buy bagels. And this location is open since 1950s, so it has really a huge impact on food culture in Montreal. And if you're visiting Montreal, I recommend you to visit one of these two bagels. It is not just the old town or the modern neighborhoods that make Montreal special. Its real symbol is this mountain, right in the heart of the city. Welcome to Park Montreal, the heart of Montreal. This is the most iconic spot in Montreal, and you have to visit 100% if you're visiting Montreal, especially for this lookout that you can see behind me. Everybody says that this is the best view on Montreal, and I 100% agree. And also the interesting fact is that this park was designed by the same architecture that built Central Park in New York. Also, the city name Montreal comes from this place because this park is called Mont-Royal, so you can see how it became the city name. There are a lot of places for picnic, for hiking, and just generally for walking. This is my third time in Montreal, and only this time I'm visiting this place, and honestly, this is a miss from my side. This is one of the cases where a single mountain literally gave the city its name and still stands as its defining symbol. If Montreal has a heart, it's definitely right here on Montreal. The next spot completely blew me away. Architecturally, it was the biggest surprise in all of Montreal. When you are walking around a North American city, you just don't expect to come across landmarks like this.
The next iconic landmark in Montreal is St. Joseph Church. This is one of the biggest one in Montreal and probably in whole North America. It is located not far from Montreal Park, so you can even walk from there. Personally, I think it looks like Montmartre in Paris, and inside the design is similar to Sagrada de Familia in Barcelona. However, I understand that maybe not everybody can see that, but for me, there were some similar things. And this is my third time visiting Montreal, but I have never been to this place. I don't know what I did before, but honestly, it's a must-visit spot. There is a huge territory, so you can spend here from 1 to 2 hours and you can walk around, take a lot of pictures, and the view, look at this, is just amazing. By the way, the dome here is even bigger than in St. Peter's Church in Vatican. Let me show you inside, but for now, just enjoy the view.
It was my third time in Montreal, but my first time in this cathedral, and I was absolutely blown away.
The next location that we are visiting today is Jean-Talon Market, if I pronounce it correctly, but I'm not sure. And this is one of the most popular places for the tourists and even for locals, because you can buy a lot of groceries, local products there, and of course you can eat amazing food. So let's check it out. But while we are driving, I want to tell a little bit about Montreal in terms of that it's similar to other cities. So I cannot understand if it is similar to New York or San Francisco or Barcelona or French cities. It's very hard to distinguish. And distances between locations are not far one from another. However, we spent a lot of time driving between them, and I don't understand. Either it's construction or traffic or something else. And of course, all signs are in French, and honestly, sometimes it's hard to find parking. Either we don't understand where we can park, or just there are so limited parking spots.
Jean-Talon Market opened back in 1933 and has since become the true heart of this neighborhood. It's not just a place to shop, it's like a daily food festival bringing together farmers, locals, and tourists. In the summer, the market explodes with colors, berries, vegetables, flowers, spices. In the winter, it transforms into a cozy, charming space with glass pavilions.
We came to the market by the end of the day, and honestly speaking, everything is open, so you can come here to buy some vegetables, some fruits, and you can also eat out here if you want, but the smell is just so amazing. Everything is so fresh that I just want to buy everything. And honestly, I feel a little bit jealous because in Toronto, we don't have such a market. St. Lawrence cannot be compared to this. And the prices here are also very good. I think it's even cheaper than in Toronto in any market or grocery shop.
What I love about this place is that it's not just for shopping, you can actually eat right here too. Little cafes serve oysters, croissants, tacos, even Vietnamese pho. It's like a mini food tour around the world, all within one market. If I had to compare it, it's somewhere between Toronto's St. Lawrence Market and New York's Chelsea Market. But Jean-Talon feels more spacious, less touristy, and way more alive. It's the kind of market that shows you the real Montreal. Mixed, diverse, and authentic. Even if you don't buy anything, it's worth just walking through the aisles, tasting maple syrup, chatting with vendors, and soaking up the atmosphere. Jean-Talon isn't a touristic attraction, it's part of the city's everyday life, and that's exactly what makes it so special. After a long day of sightseeing, I've just got the perfect spot. A place every visitor to Montreal should experience. Usually the line here is huge, but we got lucky and walked right in.
One of the most iconic food places in all Montreal is La Banquise, where you can eat poutine, and of course Canada is famous of its poutine. And this place was founded in 1968 and it serves more than 30 different kinds. And of course you can substitute and try whatever you want, but even locals like this this place, and you can buy poutine here almost 24/7. Even at 4 a.m. there are people staying in line to try it. We were lucky and there were not so many people. We waited only like 5 minutes to get a table. I personally don't like poutine very much, but I wanted to show you this place, so I hope you will like it. And whenever you're visiting, if you're into such food, so you definitely have to try it. And if you didn't know, poutine is just French fries with the gravy and cheese. So for me, it's a little bit heavy food, but this is the iconic place for Montreal and Quebec, so that's why I came to this place.
It was tasty and heavy, and I think it's a great beer food, but totally not for me.
Magic of editing, and we are located in Old Port of Montreal. This is the place where the life of city of Montreal started in early of 17th century. By the way, it is one of the oldest ports in old North America. It's about 400 years old. It was a shipping and commercial hub, but right now this place was transformed into leisure and a touristic place. Behind me you can see the quay with the different shops and the street food where you can relax for a couple of hours and watch beautiful sunset. And also Old Port is located not far from most iconic landmarks like Notre-Dame and St. Paul Street and other old town places. So we decided to have a breakfast in Arthur's Noche bar. This is one of the most hyped on Instagram and TikTok, so we definitely had to try it. And you can see the line behind me. We even tried to come here yesterday, but it was too big, so we came here in the morning and there was no line at all. So if you want to come here, definitely come at 9 a.m. And one of the most popular dish here called syrniki. This is like pancakes with the cottage cheese. And if you didn't know, syrniki is a Ukrainian dish very popular for breakfast. But in our culture, we don't make it as pancakes, we make it just fried cottage cheese. And this version is kind of pancakes and cottage cheese made a baby, and their version of syrniki was born. But honestly, I really like it. It's very sweet, and they have blueberry syrniki, which was very interesting because this is a seasonal thing.
The place is located in Montreal's Jewish quarter, and you can definitely feel the Jewish influence in the menu. As you can see, the syrniki here look more like pancakes, but they're still delicious. Inside, the vibe is great, stylish interior, cozy atmosphere, and always packed with people. Definitely a spot to add to your list if you ever visit Montreal. Montreal isn't just about the old town and downtown streets. There is actually an entire island that's been turned into a huge park, a place where you can both relax and discover something new.
We came to the St. Helens Island. This is one of the most popular places to visit, and this place is popular among tourists as well as among locals. Behind me you can see the biosphere. It was built for Expo 67 and it has so futuristic design that right now it still looks modern. This island is very huge and you can do whatever you want here. It has amazing skyline on Old City, and also there are a lot of trails for hiking, for bicycling, and of course scooters. And in summer there are different music festivals like Osheга, and also there is a huge amusement park called Six Flags.
Today, this island is one of the best spots for a walk and workout, or simply to feel how Montreal perfectly blends nature and architecture.
Let's talk a little bit about the daily life in the city itself. So the first thing is cost of living, and looks like the affordability here is much better than in Toronto. Apartments cost a little bit cheaper, but of course this statistic doesn't mean anything, because if you want to buy something or you want to rent something nice, so it has to be good neighborhood, and usually prices can go up. And Google says that public transport and gas is cheaper than in Toronto, but right now we have checked in Ontario it's $1.30 for 1 liter, and here it's $1.65. So I think Google lies. However, groceries I think is a little bit cheaper, and honestly I like Quebec products much more than Ontario's, and I wish we had the same quality of product as they have here. However, traffic is kind of bad here. There is even a local joke that Montreal is always under construction, and I agree with that, and also there is very hard to find parking. But I think that if you use underground, then it's gonna be much faster because the distances are not so big as in Toronto. And of course in Montreal there are a lot of immigrants, especially French-speaking immigrants who come from Middle East, from Africa, and also from Haiti. But the interesting thing is that whenever you walk around the streets, you hear more French than you hear English in Toronto. A lot of people immigrate specifically to this city because of its nightlife, culture, also European vibe, cuisine, and it feels not as busy as Toronto. However, a lot of people also leave Montreal because job market is smaller than in Toronto, and the French language is a barrier for a lot of people, and honestly winters here are colder and there is more snow. Personally, I don't know if I could live in this city, especially because of the French barrier, but this European vibe is very close to my heart. Share your thoughts in the comments. Would you be able to live in Montreal, or you would prefer to live in Toronto?
These 3 days in Montreal flew by so fast, and even though it was my 3rd time here, the city still managed to surprise me. Thanks for watching till the end. Don't forget to leave a like and drop a comment. And this is just the beginning of the Closer to Canada series. New cities and new discoveries are coming soon.